Hello students, welcome. This is your introductory lesson to your Geography CBA of Geography in the News. In this lesson we'll be covering about the topic of natural disasters, talking about examples you have seen in the media of this. We will also be going through what is required for the CBA, in particular looking at the expectation of the portfolio which you'll be required to complete. The different contents we expect to see researched in this portfolio will also be looked at, as well as looking at the key dates to remember throughout the CBA. It is hoped by the end of this lesson you have the knowledge required to begin the starting process of this CBA, and to also be put at ease that the CBA isn't as daunting as you may have first thought. The learning intentions of this lesson are: firstly, describe what a natural disaster is and be able to give some examples. Secondly, develop a greater understanding of the CBA, in particular of the content required and expectations. Lastly, memorize the key dates of the CBA, such as dates of workshops, oral presentations, and deadline submissions. Okay students, what do we know about natural disasters? When brainstorming your knowledge on the topic, I want you to think back to the information you've seen on the media, whether it's on your phone or on the TV when you're watching the news. Along with this, you should think back to your first year and the topics that was covered. More specifically, plate tectonics, earthquakes, tsunamis, and what did you learn about natural disasters in these classes? So what is a natural disaster? This is a natural event such as a flood, earthquake or hurricane that causes great damage or loss of life. These impacts vary from economic, environmentally, and also social impacts of the country where the natural disaster has hit. If you have time, please watch the video. Make note of one or two things that strike you about this video and what the speaker is saying. The video you just watched is highly relevant. It focuses on the capacity of researchers, innovators, scientists, historians and activists to inspire us and inform us, in particular on the topic of natural disasters. Look at these examples: Aristotle, Albert Einstein, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. These are all great researchers, all heavily involved with sciences, and all obsessed with making a difference, changing the landscape of the world in which we live. The topic of natural disasters is as relevant today as it has ever been. Take a look at this young girl in the photo. This is Greta Thunberg, as I'm sure you already know. She's went viral for trying to prevent natural disasters of global warming and climate change. Can you think of any famous natural disasters? Over the course of human history, there has been a number of natural disasters, such as Pompeii volcano erupting in 79 AD, the Haiti earthquake occurring in 2010, and also the Indian Having just talked about famous natural disasters which have occurred in history, it's important to note that these are as relevant today as it was back then and do occur in modern society. I'm sure if you looked in the news lately, you would have seen what's in this picture of the Australian bushfires and the devastating impact it has had on the country of Australia. Okay, students, you're required to make a portfolio on your chosen natural disaster for the CBA. There is a number of expectations of this portfolio. Firstly, it should be typed, not handwritten, in a font of Times Roman or Arial. This should be limited to 10 pages and should not exceed the word count. However, it must be specific to the layout stressed in the table of contents, which we will see later on. It also must have 3 to 4 photos, relate to what you're talking about. Students who use visual and text to make points clear will excel and get the upper echelon marks. Each section requires a new page, clearly titled, bigger font for titles, with text should be broken up with photos. Photos are essential in making text relatable and recognizable. It should be referenced and cited with the URL. Not Google Images, but the actual website that it came from. Students who combine the text with photos and present a clear and comprehensive folder that abides by the structure laid out in the table of contents will achieve the best marks. A short 3 to 4 minute presentation will conclude the completion of this portfolio. And remember, choose something that interests you. This will make your research easier and will be reflected with how you construct your portfolio and your oral presentation. Please listen carefully to the following table of contents of this CBA. This will help you structure your research, and if you follow this, should help you do well in the CBA. In your first section, you should outline why you chose this topic. What does it mean to you? And this should be 150 to 200 words. The next section should be about the background and the context of the natural disaster. Its origin. So when did it happen? What was life like before the natural disaster? This should be 150 words. Next section, why did it happen? What were the consequences initially and subsequently? This should be 150 words as well. Moving on, what is the impact today? And is it changed for the better or worse due to the natural disaster? And this should be 150 words as well. And in your conclusion, you should put in one thing you've learned. Is this topic more or less interesting now from when you started, and give a reason why? And one skill you developed. This should be 150 to 200 words. Okay students, here is a number of key dates to remember. This CBA will be over 4 weeks, starting on Monday the 9th of March. Over the 4 weeks we'll have a number of workshops which will help you. On week 2 you will have your oral presentation on Thursday the 19th of March. Finally, your presentation of your folder and final submission date is April the 2nd, which is a Thursday. I stress, don't leave this to the last minute, as you want to get the highest marks you could possibly can. The CBA will make up of the continuous element of your summer examinations and will account for 10% of your overall grade. This is a fantastic opportunity to excel, as it's an amazing opportunity to improve grades, develop understanding on the topic, and build confidence. I understand this may be the first time you've done an assignment of this nature in your whole time in school so far. But don't worry, follow the CBA template which will be given to you and also be put up on the website, and you'll do absolutely fine. I also stress the need you must cite and reference your sources as well Are there any natural disasters that appeal to you? Think of charities you or your family may have donated at home. Or maybe you've seen something online that might appeal to you and you want to learn more about it. It's entirely up to you. Please watch the video link below. This video is about the Haiti earthquake and 7 years after and contains a number of information that was relevant on the topic. After watching this video, think how you can incorporate what we hear and see into how we design our own portfolios with pictures, facts and consequences. This is an example of how we can use online, visual and interpretive sources for our portfolios. Remember, when doing your portfolios, you need pictures to back up the written text. It should have a 50-50 balance. To learn how to navigate to the website, click on the link below. The website contains a number of useful resources that will help you throughout the CBA.